morning. I'm Tricia Abbondanzo from Abbondanzo's Landscape and Design. This is Landscaping in the Garden State. I'm here today with another episode of What's That Plant? This is a very familiar site in New Jersey in the very early spring. This is Forsythia. Forsythia is well known for being one of the first to flower, and it's known as the harbinger of spring. This can bloom from late March to early April. We're actually a little bit late this year due to the extreme temperatures that we saw this winter. But some years this can bloom as early as February when we get an early spring. And when we see this, we know two things. Number one, winter is over and spring is finally here. The other thing it tells us is, as part of nature's calendar, this tells us that the soil temperatures are finally coming up. And there's a few things that we need to make sure that we do. First of all, we need to make sure, if we haven't done it already, that we get pre-emergent crabgrass control down on our turf areas. If we don't get it down now, it's going to be too late, and then we're going to have to treat on a post-emergent basis later, which is way more difficult and way more costly. Second, tells us that we can finally start our vegetable gardens. We can put in our cool season veggies. So now we can also plant our vegetable gardens. We can start with our cool season vegetables, our spinach, our carrots, our beets. These can go in the ground at this time. Now if we get an early frost, you're going to want to cover them for the evening. But otherwise, we're ready to go. You will see Forsythia in the landscape planted too close together, as you see here, and then heavily sheared. While this does produce a prolific display of the glorious yellow flowers, you're going against the natural growth of the plant, and you're going to have to fight that by pruning several times a year. You'll be much better off if you leave them in their upright habit. To prune them, prune out 1/3 of the branches every year. Reach all the way into the shrub and prune them out. What you could even do is you can prune them in February by taking out 1/3 of the branches, bring them into the house, put them in a vase filled with warm water, and in about 10 days you'll have forced the flowers to bloom, giving you a wonderful display in those dreary winter days. Also remember, any pruning that you do, you don't want to do in the late fall, because at that point they've already set their buds for the next year and you're not going to get any flowers. You don't have a whole lot of insects and diseases which affect them. About the only thing is root rot. So plant them in a well-drained area of your yard. These are hardy to zone 5, so all of New Jersey is good to go. You can even plant them as north as New York and Rhode Island and Connecticut, and they'll do wonderfully. Make sure you plant them in a sunny location for optimum flowering, at least 6 hours a day. For Landscaping in the Garden State, this is Forsythia, and I'm Tricia Abbondanzo.